Visitors to West Jefferson in Ashe County can expect to see a friendly, bustling small mountain town. But right around the corner from Main Street is a surprise, the only remaining commercial cheese factory in our state. The business dates from 1930, when Kraft Corporation constructed the building. Since that time, it's been in continuous production under 5 different owners. Now, Mike Everhart and Tom Torkelson run both the cheese plant and a retail store, turning out about 40,000 pounds of cheese a week.
Well, I've been in the cheese business my entire life. My dad was a first-generation cheesemaker. It was really hard work back then. Probably up until about the 1950s, milk was shipped in cans and then utilized that same day. So you saw cheese plants probably all over the mountain area here, and certainly I'm more familiar with Wisconsin, but at one time we had over 3,000 cheese plants there. Now here I would guess that there was probably a dozen in Ashe and Allegheny County, and through the years, especially after milk started to be cooled on the farm with direct expansion cooling, most of the small cheese plants weren't necessary, and the more inefficient ones just went out of business or consolidated with other plants.
Indeed, the sight of an entire hoop of cheese is not so common anymore. But the process of making it is pretty much the same as it's always been. And it starts, of course, with good fresh milk. Ashe County still has a few dairy farms that supply that.
Actually, there used to be a lot of small dairies here in the mountains, and that's changed through the years, where I think right now there's only 3 active dairy farms in the county. A typical day for us starts at about 3 a.m. and we'll make 5 batches of cheese in that day. We've got fairly large holding tanks, and we can hold probably about 2 days production worth of milk here. The milk is first pasteurized and it goes into the vats. Then we add a lactic acid producing bacteria, which actually produces the acid in the cheese, which really gives it its flavor. We'll add the starter, we'll add a color, just because people want to see colored cheese. There's really no other reason to add the color to the milk. And then we'll add an enzyme that coagulates the milk. We call it rennet. And once the milk is set with the rennet, it takes about 30 minutes for it to coagulate. And once that takes place, we take stainless steel wires, or not, we call them knives, and run vertically and horizontally through the cheese to cut it into the cubes. Then it actually looks almost like Jell-O. You can kind of cut it with your finger. Then the curd and the whey start separating. And we facilitate this separation by actually stirring the curd gently, and we'll heat it up to about 100 degrees. Once that's done, which again takes another half an hour, we'll start draining the whey off of the cheese. Then we'll bank it to one side or the other of the vat and drain off the remaining whey and water. The whole procedure probably takes about 2 hours from the time the milk is set with the rennet to the time we're ready to salt it. And we apply about 50 pounds of salt for 2,000 pounds of cheese. At that point, the hard work starts. We just use scales that we hang from the carriages of the vat. We weigh out each pail of cheese that goes into the hoops. The daisies end up about 22 pounds, and we'll put probably about 25 pounds in each hoop, because there'll be about 3 pounds of free whey that'll be pressed out of the cheese. We'll lay the cheese down into a horizontal press, and then we'll apply pressure to it, and it'll form into a mass. And we take them off the presses, put them on carts, wheel them into the cooler, and they'll stay in the cooler any place between 36 and 48 hours.
Visitors to the plant can watch the process through a big window at one end. Before the days of vacuum-sealed packaging, giving the cheese hoop a bath in hot wax was a proven way of keeping it fresh for a long, long time.
For whatever reason, and I can't really explain it, it creates almost a unique flavor in our cheddar. It's an old-fashioned way of doing it, but it works.
Across the street from the plant, the retail store is watched over by a 10-foot-tall blue mouse named Clarence, who offers customers a sample of the various cheeses. A popular product only available in the store is cheese curd, or what some may know as squeaky cheese. It's really just the curd taken out of the vat before it's been pressed and cooled. Next time you're in Ashe County, stop by to see cheese being made the old-fashioned way and sample for yourself a bit of North Carolina history.
Thank you, sir.
Y'all come back.
We will.
Certainly will.